Hey guys, I have spent some time on creating a complete new sound set for the Korg Wavestate with around 60 performance patches and a lot of sounds from my old Jupiter 8 and the Ensoniq ESQ1 for example, and I called it the Sounds of the Trevor Horn era. I reprogrammed sounds from 7 very famous productions made by him and also other productions from that era. You will find the download link in the description of this video, and I've also attached some instructions how to play these keyboard parts, so that might make it easier for some of you guys to immediately start jamming with the sounds. The song Crazy was produced by Trevor Horn 1991 and written by Seal and a British songwriter named Guy Sigsworth. It took them 2 months for the production because the aim was really high, and that's what you hear in the end. They were already years ahead of William Orbit's sound together with Madonna, Ray of Light. The wah guitar, by the way, is played by the Simply Red guitar player Kenji Suzuki. So the first sound is this intro vox sound with this little sequence. Could be a little tricky to play, and so it might work the best with a sustain pedal. Otherwise, that's why I programmed the next sound, because this is already the Synvox programmed as a sequence. The next sound is this typical filter sound from Crazy. I've also programmed this as a wave sequence. And of course, I've also implemented this Synvox sequence, you know, from the intro into this pattern, because it appears in the intro as well. So you have the Synvox sequence here. Here, this is the orchestra break, and here you have the filter sequence. And this is the Korg M1 piano sound, actually from the I think it's the last chorus of this song. At the left side you find the pad, at the right side there's the piano. Okay, this is the very big pad in the middle 8. Then we have, of course, only the pad in the sequence for the verses. So this is kind of a wah-wah guitar pattern together with a pad with the left hand. By the way, if you like my videos, hit subscribe, hit the notification button, and that will help me to make much more of these kind of videos. The song Relax was produced in 1983, I think, in Trevor Horn's own studio in London. The members of the band Frankie Goes to Hollywood were quite overstrained by Horn's perfectionism, which I can imagine. So in the end he asked Andy Richard to do the synthesizer work and JJ Jechalik for the rhythm programming, which he got to know during his work with the band The Art of Noise. Alright, let's see what we've got. We have this pounding 8-note bass sound as a wave sequence. And we have a pad for the right hand. We have this big pad for the middle 8 part. And we have this staccato kind of brass, synbrass sound that I sampled with my Jupiter 8. This is another sound from the chorus. And I have this also programmed as a wave sequence. We got an organ pad sound. And we got this combination of pad and flute sound from, I think it's the outro. And the next sound is kind of a Lyle Mays square lead sound from the also somewhere at the middle 8 outro of the song. And we got this vowel bass sound. The song Slave to the Rhythm was produced in 1985 by Trevor Horn, and it was originally intended to be the follow-up single of the song Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, but then went to Grace Jones, and I think it was her first single of that album with the same name, Slave to the Rhythm, and it then became a huge success. The keyboards were played by Bruce Glumey, who also co-wrote that song and who also wrote the song Video Killed the Radio Star. So this is the intro sound of the song. I've put the choir sound on the master performance knob. got, of course, this brass stab sound. One very big pad sound for the chorus. Gotta have really big hands for these chords, man. Okay, next one is the pad sound together with the flute. We've got an arpeggio. Low cello sound for the, I think it's the bridge. We got this FM synthi bells. The song Shout was produced in 1984 by Chris Hughes and written by Roland Archibald, the singer of Tears for Fears, and Ian Stanley. And I really love that song with the mantra-esque hook. Do you say mantra-esque in English? And it has some great inspiring synth sounds. So we have this bass and the synvox sound. Bass sound over all the keys. We have this bass sequence as a wave sequence together with the synvox sound again. This is the FM bass sound together with the synvox from the middle eight. I programmed a Hammond sound also for this middle eight, very short Hammond solo with slow and fast Leslie. And then we get this beautiful mixture between a santur, it's kind of a Middle East guitar and a synth clavi sound that I sampled with my Ensoniq ESQ1. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. This beautiful song was produced 1985 by Chris Hughes and written by Roland Archibald again. Thanks to the shuffle beat, it sounds a bit different than the other songs from the album Songs from the Big Chair. And that already build a bridge to the extraordinary style of Tears for Fears that they developed later on the forthcoming album Seeds of Love. The first sound in this song is the brass sound of the verse. And with the master knob you can pull down the volume of the brass, so you have only this electric piano sound. This is the guitar intro sound, and this kind of, let's call it Fairlight vocal sound. And we have a lot of other stuff. I just picked some sounds from this song. We have the bass rhythm of the song as a wave sequence, together with the synth brass sound. And also here you can put down the volume of the synth brass. Oops. We have, of course, the bass sound for manual playing. This is the second verse. There's another small sequence coming in. We have the intro with this beautiful little synth sound. This is just the sequence from the second verse and the brass sound. And not to forget this beautiful Fairlight Synvox sound together with this guitar sequence. The song Owner of a Lonely Heart was written by Trevor Rabin in 1983 and is a co-production of Trevor Rabin, Trevor Horn, John Anderson, the lead singer of the band Yes, and Chris Squire. Trevor Horn was a band member at the time, acting behind the knobs. After the band had split up, when Rick Wakeman, the keyboard player, left the band together with John Anderson, and after that they formed a new version of Yes. First sound here is this beautiful guitar sound that that you can play the lick with in the beginning. And then of course we get this complete guitar lick as a wave sequence with the distorted guitar on the right side of the keys. Mod wheel you can add this long guitar. And this is a variation. of the guitar sound. We have the guitar sound, the guitar sequence together with the pad. And this is the guitar sound from the intro. The anti-war song Two Tribes, I mean, we were still in the Cold War at the time, was produced 1984 by Trevor Horn and written by the British band Frankie Goes to Hollywood. It has a lot of funky elements like the pounding bass line and the funky guitar, and it has a Russian classical composition as well in the intro. So we got this great, wonderful bass sequence and the guitar pattern. Now you can add the bass sequence. You got this pad. This is a sound from the intro, piano and strings. We have the bridge. And we have this organ pad sound also somewhere in the middle 8. Could also be the bridge. And of course we have this flute sound from the intro. We got this typical orchestra hit. And what else do we have? And of course this sample mixture of a sample bass and a real bass as a single sound over the whole keys. So enough words from me, guys. That was my sound set. The sounds of the Trevor Horn era. Have fun with these sounds, play around with them, and write me a comment which sounds of these songs you missed, and also which kind of sound set you would love to have in the future. So I see you guys next time.